Paid for by Yes on 91.
Marijuana is an addictive drug which produces in its users insanity, criminality, and death. Marijuana is the most violence-causing drug in the history of mankind. If the hideous monster Frankenstein came face-to-face with the monster of marijuana, he'd drop dead from fright.
You know, it's not easy countering 7 decades of propaganda in a 2-hour show, but let's try. It's time for the Russ Belville Show's Reefer Madness Debunked.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Half past the hour, and today in Reefer Madness Debunked, we've got this great article. This is written by Stephanie Anderson. It's in the Portland Press-Herald in Maine, where, of course, the cities of South Portland and Lewiston will be voting on marijuana legalization, joining the city of Portland, which has already passed it. Now, these are city ordinances, so there still is question as to whether or not they would have really any practical effect, since the state law would still ban marijuana. But what these are really doing is setting the groundwork for 2016, when Marijuana Policy Project will probably have a marijuana initiative for legalization in the state of Maine. So I wanted to go through this and just kind of debunk some of the general reefer madness here, because it applies to any state and any marijuana legalization for the most part. The piece is entitled "Untruths About Marijuana Point to Serious Implications of Legalizing It. Before Maine jumps off the legalization cliff as Colorado did, persistent myths must be dispelled." Now, first, I gotta love the framing of jumping off the legalization cliff, as if like what we're walking along in prohibition is like what, the prohibition plateau? I guess. I don't know. That somehow what we're doing now under prohibition is working, is somehow acceptable. You know, any negative stat you want to bring up about marijuana is a negative stat that exists in the arena of prohibition, in the policy of prohibition. The bad things that you know about marijuana, how easy it is for kids to get, is because of prohibition. How potent it has become is because of prohibition. Surreptitious ways to be able to consume it is because of prohibition. Now, the writer begins by saying 9 months later, Colorado's governor is calling the whole thing reckless. Now, she wrote this today. And the day after the Colorado governor was quoted as saying legalizing marijuana was reckless, he recanted that. He took it back. So it's interesting to note that these prohibitionists don't ever correct themselves when there's an obvious correction to be made. The governor no longer thinks that it was reckless. But anyway, let's go through, because she's listed what she considers 6 myths about marijuana legalization. And I just thought we would tackle those. So here we go. Myth number 1. You can go to jail for smoking pot. Wrong. Nobody is incarcerated in Maine for smoking marijuana. It's not a crime. You can't be arrested, go to jail, or get a criminal conviction. And this is the same argument we're hearing in Oregon, because we're a decrim state. But Maine, they're even more decrim than we are. Possession of 2.5 ounces, which is a lot of pot, is a civil offense like running a stop sign. Oh, by the way, this Stephanie Anderson's a district attorney, in case you couldn't guess. So the argument that we will reduce our prison population by legalizing marijuana for recreational use is frankly absurd and outright dishonest. Well, no, it's not, Ms. District Attorney, because you know damn well that decriminalized marijuana is still contraband marijuana. And as long as marijuana is contraband, that opens up all sorts of legal avenues for the police to harass, search, and seize the property of people. As long as marijuana is contraband, people can be messed with for it. And this civil offense like running a stop sign, every time they try to minimize what the ticket is for marijuana, it just opens up the question, if it's no big deal, why is it illegal? See, we know why there is a ticket for running a stop sign. Because if you didn't ticket people who ran stop signs, they'd all run stop signs and we wouldn't have safety. We'd have people running into each other at intersections. We have tickets for speeding because we know speeding is dangerous and can kill people. Why is there a ticket for having marijuana? They have yet, it's just, In their minds, it's bad, and it's always been bad, and it's always been illegal, but nobody ever stops to question them as to why do we have this ticket in the first place? What is it that we accomplish by having the ticket? And any answer they give can be easily disproven. We have the ticket to make sure people don't use it. Really? Then why are so many people using it? Well, we have this ticket to send the right message to the kids. Really? Then why do the kids use it so much? No argument works. Her myth number 2, it's no worse than alcohol or cigarettes, except that it stays in your body for 30 days and contains over 400 compounds compared to alcohol's 1. Well, good thing she's a district attorney and not a chemist, because alcohol actually contains quite a bit of compounds, more than just 1. I mean, if you're drinking straight, ethanol, if you're drinking straight grain alcohol, then there's only 1 component, and that 1 component will kill you. No. Modern alcoholic drinks have alcohol and water and flavor and lots of stuff in them. A cup of coffee has over 800 chemicals in it. Many of those chemicals in a cup of coffee are carcinogenic. But she goes on to say that it has 50 to 70% more carcinogens than tobacco, and smokers of marijuana get 4 times more tar in their lungs per puff than smokers of tobacco do. Cancer, cancer, cancer. It suppresses the immune system. All right, look, lady. Just because something has carcinogens in it doesn't mean that it's cancerous. I know, it sounds weird, doesn't it? But it's true. Think of it like this. Water consists of 2 elements, oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen is extremely flammable and explosive. But nobody's going to tell you that water is flammable and explosive. You know why? Because chemistry matters. Chemistry matters. Any burning vegetable matter has hydrocarbons in it that are shown to be carcinogenic by themselves. But marijuana smoke also has a little thing in it called THC, which has been shown to have a protective effect against cancer. Dr. Donald Tashkin did the longest case control study on this, 30 years worth of data, and he was trying to find the link between lung cancer and marijuana. Not only did he not find a link, he found that marijuana smokers had less incidence of lung cancer than even non-smokers did. But really, the simplest response to anybody that says the 400 chemicals in marijuana and carcinogens is to say, really? Can you show me the cancer ward full of pot smokers? You're never going to find it. Where are the bodies? Number 3 myth, she says, is that it's not addictive. And then she goes to point out that 78% of children aged 12 to 17 admitted to publicly funded treatment centers in the U.S. were there for marijuana dependence. No, 78% of the children aged 12 to 17 admitted to publicly funded treatment centers in the U.S. were there because they got caught. They got caught with marijuana. That's why they're there. I just went through the drug war data mining showing you how, unlike all other drugs, if you're caught with marijuana, the chance that the criminal justice system puts you in rehab is far greater than alcohol, tobacco, or any other drug. Number 4 myth, she says we can tax it and solve budget problems, and then she drags out the Sabbath conjecture. We've already learned a hard lesson from alcohol and tobacco. For every $1 gained in tax revenue, $10 is lost in health, legal, social, and regulatory costs. Right. Because alcohol and tobacco are, say it with me, kids, toxic and addictive. They lead to disease and death, violence and cancer. Marijuana leads to an appreciation of jazz. A recent study, well, not recent, 2002 study in the Journal of Addictions up in British Columbia there, found that the healthcare and regulatory cost of a cannabis smoker in Canada was $20 per smoker per year. $20. I bet you could come up with $20 worth of marijuana tax per smoker in one freaking month. Much less a year. And besides, if there's a cost to marijuana, we're paying it now. It's not like marijuana doesn't exist. Whatever cost does exist for marijuana, we're paying it now. and we're getting nothing in taxes, and we're paying for a prohibition that doesn't work. Her myth number 5 says it's working great in Colorado. Not true. What's up in Colorado? Pot-related violent crimes, homicides linked to pot, driving under the influence of marijuana, and stone driving deaths. Look, folks, here's what they're pointing out. Now that marijuana is legal, when you look at statistics, you find people that use marijuana. You know, I bet you're going to find a whole lot more violent crimes and robberies and driving under the influence of people who are married gay people now. I'll bet you're going to find a whole lot more married gay people in the crime statistics, the death statistics. Now, does that mean legalizing gay marriage made all these things happen? No, it means that now there is such a thing as gay marriage. You can be a gay married person and you start showing up on statistics. And that's what's happening with marijuana, folks. Now that you can be a marijuana smoker, some people are. And furthermore, she's just outright lying here. The violent crimes have gone down in Denver. The tourism's gone up. They've made $45 million in revenue. They've created 18,000 jobs. She also worries about the marijuana-infused edibles because pot is way stronger than it used to be when we were baby boomers in college. And hashish oil-infused gummy bears and Swedish fish are indistinguishable from the safe ones. Also up is welfare fraud, as EBT cards are being used to buy pot. Man, I hate that line about the welfare for weed. Look, if there's a sick person out there and they're using their welfare card to get weed, they are saving us money in healthcare costs in the long run. I really don't have a problem with it. And her final myth, we'll regulate it like alcohol and keep it out of the hands of kids. We all know how well that's working, she says. Well, yeah, we do know how well that's working. See, these people keep wanting to pretend as if it's not working because lots of people do it and don't compare it to the past. They don't compare it to any of the data that we have. In 1985, when I was in high school, 90% of 12th graders had tried alcohol. Today, 70% of 12th graders have tried alcohol. In 1990,